Swaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashamanaye Swaha. Okay. Vajra Sutra, page 3. In Tibetan, Papa Shirabge Parudu Chimba, Dorji Chubashe Chawa, Teba Chimbe Do. In English, Exalted Mahayana Sutra, or the wisdom gone beyond, called the Vajra Kata. I prostrate to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling at Sravasti. Okay, so this is the background information as to the Vajrakata Sutra. How did it come into being? The scenario created. Thus did I hear at one time. Okay, thus did I hear at one time. This one. This is to indicate the authenticity of this teaching. Authenticity of this teaching, that this is actually not what the compiler. The compiler is just the exaggerating or summarizing. No, this is what exactly happened. Thus did I hear. This is what I heard. Not that I'm paraphrasing, or I'm putting it in simple words. No, this is what I exactly hear, the authenticity. Because authenticity is so important. Authenticity of the text. So therefore, I always tell people that when you read texts, read books, look for books. Don't just grab any book. Okay, once your understanding of emptiness, once your understanding of the Buddha's teachings become so well refined, you are very confident, for example, to the extent that you pick, of course, Nagarjuna's books, then even better than that is the Buddha's own sutras, Buddha's sutras, and then Nagarjuna's text, Aryadeva's text, Buddha Palita's text, the Acharya Chandrakriti's text, Bodhisattva Shantideva's text, and Bodhisattva Chandrarakshita's text. So when you read these texts, of course, this is just the pinnacle, the incredibly refined classic. And then you read, for example, on emptiness, like Lama Tsongkhapa's text. These are classic. And then in the monastic universities, they have their own the monastic the textbooks composed by the later Tibetan masters. They are amazing the standard. And the people who are studying there for all this like 700 years, since 14th century AD, since then, the very systematic studies and very rigorous systematic studies were being introduced with the advancement of Lama Tsongkhapa in Tibet. Then the great teachers from there, like innumerable great teachers, great philosophers, logicians, they came. And then just look at their standpoint. So which are the authors who they considered as very standard and classic. So it is on that basis that initially, before we really get confidence in the experience of emptiness and the bodhicitta and the Mahayana teaching in general, it would be good to study the very standard texts rather than just grabbing at any book written by any author. Okay. So with this in mind, then later on, as your emptiness experience becomes very stable and very profound, you become very confident, then you grab any book and see that, okay, this book is so-so, this book is very standard, this book is, there's so many factual errors. You will be in a position to distinguish which are the good books. Till that point, it is always good to stick to very standard books. And if possible, as I said earlier, try to look for somebody who can guide you properly. guided properly. Not necessarily, at least somebody who, who was or who is with the very standard teachers for many years, and although the person himself or herself may not be highly academic or so forth, it doesn't matter. The thing is that as long as the person is in the position to give proper directions, then always, so when even to read a book, which book, should I read this book, that book, and so forth, you can seek the help of that teacher. Okay, and then gradually you should have that capacity to know which are the books that I should be reading, which are the books which I should not be reading for the time being. And later on, once you become very confident with emptiness, particularly with emptiness, you can read any books. Don't worry. Okay, so this is the point that I like to share with you. With this in mind, thus did I hear at one time the indicating the authenticity of this text Vajra Sutra, which actually happened at the time of the Buddha. The Bhagavan referring to the Buddha. The Bhagavan has the connotation Chom Den. In Tibetan it is Chom Den. Chom means to eliminate, to remove, to subdue, to undermine the negativities. Chom Den is to be endowed with all the good qualities, having abandoned all the defilements and having obtained or attained all the good qualities. Chom Den. And the Tibetan translators, they add this word De. Chom Den De. The third syllable was added by the Tibetans in the Tibetan word. But the Tibetans, they don't alter the authentic Sanskrit word. Sanskrit word is Bhagavan. The Sanskrit word in Tibetan, it has only two connotations, only two sides. Chom Den, the one who has abandoned, the one who has abandoned fully and one who has attained fully. Abandoned the negativities and attained the positive qualities. And the Tibetans added this word De. De is the one who has transcended. The ordinariness. Okay, the Bhagavan is dwelling at Shravasti in the grove of the Prince Jetha in the garden of Anathapindika, together with a great Sangha of bhikshus, of 1,250 bhikshus, and a great many Bodhisattva Mahasattvas. Okay, so this is a scenario. Then in the morning, having put on the lower and the upper dharma robes and carried the begging bowl, the Bhagavan, the Buddha, entered the great city of Shravasti to request alms, or for alms round. Then having gone to the great city of Shravasti to request them, the Bhagavan afterwards enjoyed their alms food, and having performed the activity of food, since he had given up alms of the later food, put away the begging bowl and upper robe. He washed his feet, sat upon the prepared cushion, and having assumed the cross-legged posture, straightened the body upright and placed mindfulness in front. Okay, so this is a scenario where the Buddha then went into samadhi practice, meditation in front. Then many bhikshus approached to the place. Then the monks, they started to come after their the lunch. Place where the Bhagavan was, and having reached there, bowing their heads to the Bhagavan's feet, circumambulated 3 times and sat to one side. They all sat on the side. Also at that time, the Venerable Subhuti, joining their very assembly, sat down. Then the Venerable Subhuti rose from the seat, placed the upper robe over one shoulder, set his right knee on the ground, bowed, joining the palms towards the Bhagavan, and said this to the Bhagavan. Extent to which the Bhagavan is Bhagavan and Tathagata, both are the epithets. There are many epithets of the Buddha. The Tathagata meaning the one who has gone to the ultimate reality, the Shinshakpa, to the thusness or to the suchness. Tathagata, Arahat, the supreme of all the Arhats. Arahat, perfectly enlightened Buddha, has benefited the Bodhisattva Mahasattva with the highest benefit, the extent to which the Tathagata has entrusted the Bodhisattva Mahasattva with highest entrustment, Bhagavan. It is astonishing. Sugata, again Sugata is another epithet of the Buddha's Sugata is the one who has gone to the perfect bliss of the purity, perfect bliss of the eradicating all the mental disturbance, Sugata. It is astonishing. Bhagavan, how should one who has correctly entered the Bodhisattva's vehicle abide? How practice? How control the mind? Okay, this is how the whole episode unfolded, began. So in other words, the Subhuti, he rose and then asked this question to the Buddha. How should one who has correctly entered the Bodhisattva's vehicle abide? How practice? How control the mind? In Heart Sutra, how should the Shariputra, instead of Subhuti, Shariputra raised this question to Aravalokiteshvara. So here, Subhuti was asking this question to the Buddha Shakyamuni, Buddha. And in the Heart Sutra, how should the child of the lineage practice the Professional Wisdom Sutra? This question, and this question here, Bhagavan, how should one who has correctly entered the Bodhisattva's vehicle, the Bodhisattva's vehicle, the child of the lineage, these two mean the same. Who's the child of the lineage? The one who has entered the Bodhisattva's vehicle, because these beings will follow the lineage, will hold the lineage of the Buddha. So the child of the lineage, meaning the one who is following the Buddha's lineage. Who are they? Following the Bodhisattva path. Enter the Bodhisattva's vehicle, abide. How practice? How control the mind? This question raised. Okay, I'll just read one or two passages, and then I'll try to give a quick summary of what exactly, how we traverse along the path. What should we be doing? So what should practice? What should be done? Same, Bodhisattva's vehicle, abide, how practice, and how control the mind. So with this, then how we traverse along the path, and in between, there are several passages which would be very helpful, and of course, particularly if we are to understand the word-to-word meaning of some of the passages which repeatedly comes, that would be very helpful. Particularly of course, this would be very helpful for all of us, and those who commit themselves to recite this Vajra Sutra 3 times a week. 2 times a week, 3 times a week.
3 times a week.
3 times a week for 3 years. Okay, so who are actually engaged in doing that, then you will read it, and then every time the same lines come to you, and the meanings are reflected every time the seed of the wisdom and emptiness is being activated. This is benefit. Okay. That was said, and the Bhagavan said to the Venerable Subhuti, well said, Subhuti, it is so, that the Tathagatas benefited the Bodhisattva Mahasattva with the highest benefit. The Tathagata has entrusted the Bodhisattva Mahasattva with the highest entrustment. Subhuti, therefore, listen and properly retain it in the mind. Okay, so in our class, for example, say the last 6 days, we're talking about listen, right? And listen, don't raise hands like this. Listen. So why this is very important is that the very important points are bound to be discussed. So there you miss one point, and then the minute points to be followed later, you will feel that they are all you will feel them as though like they are fragmented, because the linking points are missing. So therefore, we should be able to listen to the points well, and then of course, the questions must be asked, which is so important, and particularly for people like me, your questions are really helpful to me. Your questions can really trigger many reflections, and then make me to bring back again what my teachers taught. That will be very helpful for me. Okay. Subhuti, therefore, listen and properly retain it in mind. Retain meaning register, not just listen inactively. Listen and make sure that they are registered. Retain. Properly retain it in mind, and I'll explain to you how one who has correctly entered the Bodhisattva's vehicle should abide, how to practice, and how control the mind. Having replied, then the Subhuti said, Bhagavan, so be it. The Venerable Subhuti listened in accordance with the Bhagavan, and the Bhagavan said this, Subhuti, here, one who has correctly entered the Bodhisattva's vehicle should generate the mind for enlightenment, thinking this. Okay, Bodhisattva, Bodhi. Bodhi is awakening. In other words, Buddhahood, Bodhi, awakening. Sattva is the courageous one. Bodhisattva. They say, oftentimes we have the people have wrong understanding. They say that Buddha and Bodhisattvas are more compassionate. Some people say that. Because the Buddhas, okay, they left samsara, okay, now finish. Bodhisattvas are the ones who come back to samsara out of compassion. The Buddhas, they left the world, they achieve enlightenment, and then finish, their job is done. But Bodhisattvas are the ones who still cannot leave the samsara, who still doesn't want to leave the samsara, who still want to help the sentient beings, seeing them suffering out of compassion, they come back to samsara. This is a total wrong understanding and naivety. Okay. So the point is that to benefit sentient beings, it's not necessary that you should suffer. It is not necessary that we should suffer in order to benefit sentient beings. The one who can benefit the beings the most, that is important. Finally, you suffer and the beings, you don't have the energy left to benefit the beings, doesn't make any sense. Finally, beings should be benefited, sentient beings should be benefited. For that matter, somebody who has eradicated all the weaknesses, all the vulnerabilities, that person has the full power to benefit beings. Who is that? The Buddha. So when you become a Buddha, then you have your mental defilements are eradicated fully, your vulnerabilities are all removed, and then because you are not vulnerable anymore, then you are in a position to benefit all sentient beings so perfectly. So the Buddhas, this is one attaining which allows you to benefit all beings, all the human sentient beings. Now, anybody to achieve that state is not easy. To achieve that state of perfection, to benefit all beings, is not easy. Okay, so they say the people, generally speaking, wherever in the world, Finland, Sweden, India, or wherever in the world, where they are the professional or the standard university systems. So there, how many students initially go to, okay, listen, how many students initially go to schools? Class 1, class 2, class 3, how many students? Almost everyone goes there. You agree with me? Almost every child should go there. Okay, how many graduate as a PhD student? PhD, what do you call it? PhD graduate. How many graduate as a PhD? Out of 10,000 students entering the school, how many will graduate? Maximum 20, 30 out of that. So which is more difficult, to enter the school or to finish graduate high school, graduate to PhD? Which is more difficult? Zarina knows it so well. PhD. Zarina felt so tired, right? Okay, people who do the PhD, they feel so exhausted, so tired, right? Okay, so therefore we see that people who enter into the school, just join school, it's not difficult. But then graduating the PhD, that takes a long time. That requires a tremendous commitment, tremendous enthusiasm. Without that, you cannot really do that. So those people who are able to do that, who have that commitment to do that, these are known as the courageous one. So, PhD is more difficult or Buddhahood is more difficult? Buddha is much more difficult, right? Zarina knows that. Okay, anyone who did PhD? Anyone? Okay, so the Buddha is much more difficult. So, but to say that somebody is doing PhD, coming to become Buddha, wow, you really have a commitment, you really have a... To become Buddha, to wanting to become Buddha, the commitment should be far stronger. Commitment should be much more stronger. So that somebody who has such a strong commitment, only courageous people can have. Otherwise, one will not have that, courageous people. So, it is known as the courageous person committed to become Buddha. It's known as Bodhisattva. Bodhi is the awakening, and Sattva is the courageous one. Courageous one who can take this responsibility to commit oneself to achieve Buddhahood for the benefit of all dear sentient beings. That is known as Bodhisattva. Okay. The last paragraph. Having replied, Bhagavan, so be it, the Venerable Subhuti listened in accordance with the Bhagavan, and the Bhagavan said this, Subhuti, here, one who has correctly entered the Bodhisattva's vehicle should generate the mind of enlightenment, thinking this. As many as are included in the category of sentient beings, born from egg, born from womb, born from heat and moisture, born miraculously. These are known as the 4 forms of birth. 4 forms of birth. Born from eggs, for example, like the chickens. Okay, so they are born from the egg, and then the born from the womb is like the human beings and many of the animals. Then born from in the heat, many of the insects. Oh. Oh. And the miraculous are referring to the devas and devis, god and goddesses. God and goddesses here again, there is the monotheism, polytheism, the theistic, meaning the one who accepts God. Polytheism, monotheism. So Christianity, Judaism, Islam, they are monotheistic religion. And within India, there are many traditions who believe in the multiple gods. That is polytheism. And then in the context of Buddhism, Buddhism doesn't believe in such the personal God as in the one who creates, the creator God there. But we do speak about God and goddesses, because again the word God and goddesses, this is something, it is very contextual. Simply because the word God is used doesn't mean that you believe in creator God. Creator God and the God and goddesses in general is very different. God and goddesses in the context of the creator God, then in the context of the very powerful, the Asians who have the power to destroy the world, who have power to create the world, who have power to abide, sustain the world, and so forth. This is one. And then in the context of we the human beings, we are under the control of karma and afflictions. Likewise, even the gods and goddesses, there is a realm where you take birth there, and because of your great positive karma, you have the body which is more subtle, and the manifest sufferings that we have, they don't have. And then they say on still the higher planes of the God and Goddess realm, we see that then even the manifest suffering are totally cut off. So that way we see that this is also another version of another understanding of God and Goddesses. Okay. These God and Goddesses within the samsara, how they take birth is their birth is born miraculously, the miraculous birth. With form, without form, with discrimination, without discrimination, but not without the subtle discrimination, the realm of sentient beings, as many as are designated by imputation as sentient beings, all those I shall cause to pass completely beyond sorrow into the realm of nirvana, without remainder of the aggregates, although limitless sentient beings have thus been caused to pass completely beyond sorrow, no sentient beings whatsoever has been caused to pass completely beyond sorrow. Okay, so here they directly jumped into emptiness, right? Okay, so which means that we are the ones. So whereas those in the monastic universities, to reach to this level, first passage, they study for 10 years. So we are the lucky ones. Here, just the first passage, jump there. Okay, so the idea was that we need to first set a proper motivation. So how should the one who is following the Bodhisattva path, what kind of motivation to set, what kind of practice to do, how to control the mind. Okay, so they're setting the proper motivation. Motivation makes the whole difference. This motivation decides whether you are following the Bodhisattva path or not following the Bodhisattva path. Anybody who aspires to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, may I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, that marks the person to be following the Bodhisattva path. So there then it says, as sentient beings, all those who I shall cause to pass completely beyond sorrow, I shall cause meaning I will take the responsibility to let them go beyond sorrow, or let them achieve the state of sorrowlessness into the realm of nirvana without remainder of the aggregates. Okay, nirvana with remainder, nirvana without remainder. What's the difference? The difference is, okay, let's say that nirvana is a mental quality. It has nothing to do with the body. It is a mental quality, nirvana, where your mind is freed from all fears of life. So this is in a very secular context. In a very secular context, when your mind becomes free of all the fears of life, that is when you achieve nirvana. Okay, external factors are there. For example, you may not get food for the next 1 month, but your mental consciousness is not affected. Whereas for us, if you don't get food for, say, 1 day, first we become agitated. Then if you don't get food for 3 or 4 days, then on top of the agitation, our body will start to crumble. Right? Our body will start to crumble. And then the mental reaction is going to be very different. Agitation plus sadness, very profound sadness, feeling of loss, and feeling of loss of hope, and so forth. All these things happen on the mental consciousness. Whereas if you achieve nirvana, your body remains the same. And you may not even get food for, let's say, you may not even get food from the 5 days, 6 days, 10 days. And then you may be exposed to such acute, not expected, for example, say, I came to a travel all these 2.5 months from the Delhi, picking up the heat, then going to Israel is fine, from there going to Malaysia, little heat, then going to the Malaysia's very pleasant place, the Chen Shui Temple, very cool, and then going to Singapore, humidity, and then going to Vietnam, worse humidity. Okay, so this is how I've been traveling, and suddenly I ended up in Ireland. In Ireland, and then the temperature, my friend in France told me that, Geshe, do you have some warm clothes? Temperatures 11 and 17. Okay, 11 and 17. In Delhi, 11 means everybody is on coat, sweater, and so forth. Okay, but luckily my body, it's not that my body is strong, my body is very strong. This is maybe some disorder of my body. It doesn't really feel the cold, not because that I'm great, but the weakness of my body. There's the body problems there. It doesn't really feel the cold as much. Okay, not for any other reason. Don't think that, wow, right? This is what people exaggerate. Nothing to do. If the medical doctor does a very good checkup, they might find something wrong, right? The nervous system, to feel the cold, that part of the nervous system must be damaged. Yeah, not because of greatness. Okay, so it's fine. No problem at all. It's fine. Okay. So this is what I'm saying is that finally your mental consciousness, whether you're happy, not happy, and so forth, is decided by what is your mental consciousness. What is mental consciousness? Another question before we jump into this emptiness. Without knowing these basic questions, again you will feel a little complicated. What is mental consciousness? Okay, let's say, what are you doing? You're looking at me, right? You're looking at me. Your body is looking at me, or your eyes are looking at me, or your mind is looking at me. What are you doing? Okay, so here, say for example, in meditation, when we close eyes. So some meditation people say close eyes and do meditation, close eyes, and then you think whatever you are thinking. Okay, what are you thinking? Whereas, how will you know what is mental consciousness? Is when you learn meditation with the eyes open. When you keep your eyes open, for example, 45 degrees cast down, and your mental consciousness, which means, for example, in my case, say 45 degrees cast down, I see this book. I see this book. And then while my mind, I can be meditating on the emptiness of myself. I can be meditating on the tiny dot between my nose and upper lip, which is not at all on the book there. Or I can be meditating on my own awareness, just seeing my own awareness. While my eyes are cast down there, but my mental consciousness is not at all following the eyes. It is meditating on something else. So there you see that what your eyes, initially when you introduce this meditation, then you will constantly see what is in the eyes and focus on the mind, or focus on the tiny dot between your nose upper lip. I don't see the focus, I don't see the dot there, I only see what is there on the book, on the table, what is in front of you, which means that your eye consciousness, no doubt, it is projected, it is cast on the object right in front of you, and then you say that I am seeing. I am seeing means not your eye consciousness. Your mental consciousness is chasing after the eyes. So whereas if you get the skill, while your eyes, for example, say my eyes are cast on you, but my mind, if I learn the skill to separate my eye consciousness, my mental consciousness. If I learn the skill to do this, then in public I can do meditation, right? So if there's a public gathering, party, and you are not really interested, but you have to go there because you're a part of the family, so you go there and be with the other people, and other people start chatting, let them chat, you keep your eyes open, right? Just meditate. Whereas if you don't know how to meditate with your eyes open, then the moment you are in public, you will meditate, you have to close eyes. The moment you close eyes, people think that you are so weird. What for have you come here? Right? Whereas you keep your eyes open like this, and so like you are watching somebody. Actually, you are not watching that person, you are just meditating. Right? So your eye consciousness is cast there. Your eye consciousness cast there, your mental consciousness is active in a different form. Okay, so that part of the mind which is actively meditating, which is different from what the eye consciousness is doing, that mind is known as the mental consciousness. So that mental consciousness decides you are happy or not happy. Even though physically you may be in a very difficult situation, dire situation, but if your mind, mental consciousness, is not disturbed, that is possible. According to Charles Darwin's evolutionary theory, that is not possible. According to Charles Darwin's evolutionary theory, if a body is going through disturbance, your mental consciousness is bound to be going through disturbance. So, in other words, you can never reach a state whereby your mental consciousness will be totally free of all sufferings or agitation and so forth. There are instincts within you. Instincts of anger, instincts of craving, instincts of sadness, instincts of fear. These are there. You cannot get away from these. This is what Charles Darwin's evolutionary says. Whereas the Buddha said it very differently. Are these instincts? Yes, they are instincts, but they can be gotten rid of. How? By learning how to separate the sensory consciousness and the mental consciousness. You learn how to separate the two, then you train to make this mental consciousness operate in such a way that mental consciousness is not affected by external factors anymore. So there is a point your mind achieves total freedom. That is nirvana. Okay, so your desire to liberate everyone from this state of sorrow, where your mind will be easily affected by external factors, to the state where your mind becomes so strong that no matter what external factors you are meeting with, the mental consciousness remains forever stable, steady, not affected. Very happy, peace of mind. External factors do not affect you in any ways. So when you reach that level, that is known as nirvana, and you want all beings to reach that level. That is the Bodhisattva spirit, that may I become Buddha, so that I can take them from the state of sorrow to the state of beyond sorrow. This is the commitment the Bodhisattva should have, number one. So it says that the realm sentient beings, first paragraph, line 5, page 5, first paragraph, line 5. The realm sentient beings, as many as are designated by imputation. So innumerable sentient beings, all those beings I shall cause to pass completely beyond sorrow. I'll take them to state of beyond sorrow, into the realm of nirvana, without remainder. Okay, so once you achieve that state where your mind is not going to be affected anymore, but your body, do you still have this body? For example, now, if you achieve that nirvana in this deep meditation with the wisdom of emptiness, you achieve that nirvana. Actually, let's say you achieve the nirvana at say 12:36 sham. 12:36 sham, you achieve nirvana. Your mind has achieved nirvana, let's say. Okay, your body, do you still have the body or not? If you achieve nirvana in this state, right, you can achieve nirvana, there's no problem. But it must be complemented by bodhicitta. Otherwise, it's going to be very complicated. With the bodhicitta, you can achieve nirvana. That happens on the 8th bhumi. Right? 8th bhumi, bodhisattva's 8th bhumi. Okay, let's say you achieve nirvana at this stage, and then right now you achieve the nirvana. Do you still have the body or not? Huh? Yes. You still have the body. This body you borrowed from your parents? You got from parents? Yeah, still you have the body. This body is prone to sickness, aging, death? Yes. Even after you become an arahat, you become arahat, meaning the arahat in general. So the body that we have is prone to sickness, aging, death. All these problems are there. So these are the undesirable sides. We don't want our body to decay. We don't want our body to become sick or age or die. We don't want that. But then this body, we cannot do away with this. This body, by the very definition, this body has to go through these processes, which means that this body has so much of limitations. And these limitations came from where? From samsara. This is what we inherited, samsaric substance, samsaric body we obtained from our parents. So it has so much limitations. So although you achieve nirvana, freedom from samsara, but still you have the remnants of the samsaric body. That is known as the nirvana with remainder. Nirvana with the remainder of the samsaric remains. Samsaric remnants. What is that? The body, contaminated body. When you leave this body, then your mind will be totally, completely freed. Not only freed mentally, physically also you will be freed. That is known as nirvana without remainder. Nirvana with remainder is nirvana, although your mind is freed, but physically still you have the remainder of the samsaric body. This is the nirvana with remainder. Nirvana is mental quality, remainder of the physical limitations, physical, say the samsaric bodies. Nirvana with remainder. When you leave this body, then it becomes nirvana without remainder. Okay, so it says nirvana without remainder of the aggregates. Aggregates are 5 aggregates. Aggregate body, mainly aggregated body. Although limitless sentient beings, now the next part. Although limitless sentient beings have thus been caused to pass completely beyond sorrow, no sentient beings whatsoever has been caused to pass completely beyond sorrow. So the first line says, although limitless sentient beings have thus been caused to pass, thus been taken to the state beyond sorrow, But the second line, the second part of the line says, no sentient beings whatsoever has been caused to pass beyond complete sorrow. So this obvious the contradiction. Do you see the contradiction? The first part of the same sentence says that you cause or you trigger or you make all sentient beings to go beyond sorrow. And second part of the same sentence says, no sentient beings whatsoever has been caused to pass beyond sorrow. So you see the contradiction. So this is not a contradiction. This is not a contradiction. This is the style of this composition. This is the concept which we need to know and then apply to the rest of the 27 pages. 27 pages on the same although you have achieved the Bodhisattva path, but you have not achieved the Bodhisattva path. Although you have attained the stream entrance path, you have not achieved the stream entrance path. If you think that you have achieved the stream entrance path, you have not achieved the stream entrance path. You're getting it? So all this is what is going to be, what we are going to encounter as we read the sutra. So for this matter, we need to know, we need to untangle, we need to decode the main essence. Okay, for this, the people from the Dorji retreat, they are self-relieved here, you know that, and particularly for those who are, those from Dorji retreat, I don't know how much you have grasped that. By now you should have grasped that, right? Because so many question answers were happening, and then you cannot remain idle. You could not remain idle, right, honey? Right? In Dorji retreat, yes. Even though you want to remain a very passive listener, you cannot. You cannot, right?
Remember. Yeah, I know. I think I understand this.
No, what I'm saying is, Alex, you got what I'm saying? Yeah. Even though one wanted to be a passive listener, you cannot.
No, you could not. Yes.
Yes. You have to participate, right? Okay, you have to participate. So therefore, no choice other than to participate in this. Okay, so with this, the idea is that what we are saying, okay, now to unfold this, what are we going to read? What is this?
Glass of water.
Interesting. Glass of water. Okay, particularly those of you who were absent then, you have to tell me what is this? Don't feel shy. And what is this, Maria?
This is a glass of water.
Glass of water.
Glass of H2O.
Wow. What is this?
Right now it looks like a glass of water.
Wow, okay. Your name? Raila. Okay, whenever Raila goes to shop, Raila will say, can I have can I have a biscuit? Or can I have a chocolate? And the shopkeeper gives a chocolate. Oh, this is right now, it looks like a chocolate. Yeah. Oh, it's a chocolate. It's a chocolate, it looks like a chocolate. It's a chocolate, right? Okay, a good philosophy where you speak what comes to your mind. Don't speak your philosophy. If the philosophy is what comes to your mind, it's fine. Whereas the first thing that should come out is what comes to your mind. Right? Later on, the philosophy and your thinking will become one. If that becomes one, you have succeeded. Whereas till that point, whenever questions are coming pertaining to the study of the philosophy, you must speak your mind. Don't try to give an answer. Okay, if I give what I think, he may be very sad, right? He may be expecting a very sophisticated answer. If you think like this, you will never understand the philosophy. You will never understand philosophy, particularly the philosophy which the Buddha taught. If you really want to understand the philosophy the Buddha taught, on the basis you want to transform your mind, you must speak your mind. What comes to your mind, you have to say it very honestly. Don't add, don't delete. Just speak what comes to mind. Okay, so what is this? A glass of water. Glass of water. Okay. Now, what's your name?
Kirsi.
Kirsi. Kirsi.
Yes.
Okay. So what Kirsi says that the glass of H2O. Okay. Glass of H2O, H2O or H2Os? H2O is one molecule. H2Os is multiple molecules. Huh? One molecule or many molecules?
No, I don't know anymore.
You don't know H2O?
No, I don't know how many molecules are one.
No, I did.
No.
You know that but this is not one molecule, right? One molecule cannot move like this. For this to move like this, there should be at least billions of molecules. Okay, so my question is that, okay, so when we see, this is very important. This is very important. When we look at this, we see this is water. The reality is that this is water, yes, and this is also H2O. This is also electrons, protons, neutrons. Likewise, when you look at the other person sitting next to you, okay, look at the other person sitting next to you. Okay, when you look at the other person, yeah, you see a face, you see a face. It's also reality, and it's also a bunch of molecules. It's also reality, and bunch of electrons, protons, neutrons. It's also reality. All three are reality. You're getting it? All three are reality. Now the point is that, say, okay, to make it very short, I'm also expecting some questions in the end. To make it very short, okay, let's say okay, let's say that this is what we see as water, and some people describe this as H2O, and others will describe this as electrons, protons, neutrons, and we say that all three are correct. All three are correct? All three are correct. All three are correct. But then there are three different perceptions. How you see as water is not how you see as molecules. How you see as H2O molecules, this is not how you see as electrons, protons, neutrons. There are three different perceptions. You're getting it? But the water is only, the object here is only one. There's only one object. There's no three different objects. But you perceive that in three different ways. So these three different perceptions, for sure, is not the object, is the subjects. Three different perceptions are the three different subjects. Subjects means not the object, right? So what you see is purely subject, not from the object. Okay, now you look at this again. You look at this again, and how does this appear to you? Does it appear to you like subject from the subject going there? Does it appear to you as independent? Nothing to do with my subject is really there. How does it appear to you? As from the object or as from the subject? How does it appear? How does it appear? From the object? Independent of your mind? Or it appears like your mind is creating it? How does it appear to you? Kirsi, how does it appear?
From the mind.
Oh wow, this is amazing.
From the subject.
No, there are two questions. But before I say amazing, I should really see what is amazing. Right? There are two questions. One is how does this water exist from the object or from the subject? This is one question. Another one is how does this water appear to you? How does it appear? I'm not talking about how does it exist, but how does it appear to you? Does it appear as objective real, coming from the object, or coming from the subject? How does it appear? Easier maybe to go to the first question. That is, how does it exist? From what you learn. When I say how does it exist, I'm not asking your mind. I'm asking what did you learn? What do you know about? When I say how does it appear, I'm asking your mind. I'm asking, explaining you to, yes.
Se on mun subjektin objekti ja erillinen subjektista.
So it's the object of my subject and it is separate from the subject.
Okay, so that is the how it exists. It is okay. It's an object room as subject and subject. This is very good. This is interesting. It's an object room subject, no doubt. It's an object room as subject, and it is seen as separate from the subject. Very good. Yes.
It appears as an object.
Okay. Okay. So it appears from the object. As object or from the object? Okay, you may be wondering, what is the difference? What's the difference? It appears as object, it appears as from the object. What's the difference? This is a question. Anybody? No, anybody? Yes, Zarina.
In case of from, I think it says that the object is the cause for me to perceive it.
Okay, from the object means object is the cause for me to perceive it. Okay, is the object the cause for you to perceive it or not? Anybody really? Is this glass the cause for me to perceive it?
Yes.
Yes. So the glass exists objectively?
It's not the only cause.
No, my question, is it a cause? Is it a cause?
Yes.
Yes, it is a cause. So does it exist objectively?
No.
Okay. So as per Zarina, if it exists object meaning, if it exists from the object means that the glass should be the cause of the perception. So glass being the cause of the perception is the meaning of the glass existing objectively. So what they really saying is that this is not the meaning. Glass does not exist from the object, but the glass is still the cause of the perception. Okay, which means that the glass exists from the object is not the meaning of the glass to be the cause of the subject, of the perception to the subject. So what's the meaning of the glass from the object? What's the meaning? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody now? Hey, Thomas also. What's the meaning of the glass from the object? Distinction between the glass as the object and glass. Okay, seeing the glass as object, seeing the glass from the object.
Do you mean that we are projecting our own meaning into the object, or that that object has an objective existence that has caused itself? It is? No.
Say it again. Say it.
There is a glass.
What is the question?
It has what?
Thomas, what's my question?
Your question was that does the glass? How is the glass? I don't remember what.
The glass, glass seen. I see the glass as the object.
Yeah.
I see the glass from the object.
You are not seeing glass from the object.
Exactly. No, I'm seeing.
Yeah, but you are not from the.
But the glass doesn't exist from the object.
Yeah, it doesn't have independent or true.
So the first one, I see the glass as object is valid. There's nothing wrong in it.
Yeah.
Whereas I see the glass from the object, that is wrong.
Yeah.
Right? In what way seeing the glass from the object is wrong? In what way it is deceptive? So what's the meaning of that? What is meant by the seeing the glass from the object? Honey?
No, I was thinking from the ultimate. That it's
Uh-huh.
empty of, then it's empty of,
Say it again.
empty of being, if empty of the glass then.
No, the question is, what is the meaning? What's the meaning of the glass seen from the object? Alex?
The glass exists objectively.
Objectively, glass existing objectively.
This is the meaning here.
Okay, this is the meaning of the glass seen from the object. Glass seen to be objectively real is the meaning of the glass seen from the object. Okay. Yes, Serena?
Geshe, I didn't understand the difference between glass existing objectively and glass causing.
Okay, so from what we really said, there's a difference between the glass to be the cause of the perception to the object, glass to be a glass existing from the object. There's a difference. The first one, the glass as a cause for the perception to the subject, that is valid. The glass existing from the object, that's not valid. So these are not synonymous. Okay.
Yeah, glass existing from the object would mean that it exists from its own side, right? Which we cannot know. Can we know?
Okay, so glass from the object means a glass existing from its own side. So we're not sure whether it exists from its own side or not. Wow, this is very good. Okay, this is a good question raised. No, this is a good point raised. So the point is, this is beautiful. Okay, let us not forget this. What's the meaning of the glass from the object? Glass from the object means that the glass existing objectively. Objectively. Now the question is whether the glass actually exists objectively or not. We don't know. This we have to study. This we have to study. This is a very precise understanding. So those of us who attended the Dorji retreat, we talked about the identifying the 4 essentials, right? What's the first essential?
Identifying the object of negation. Precisely identifying the object of negation.
Okay, this is very precise. Okay, essential of identifying the object of negation. Although the object of negation does not exist, although the object of negation, which is objective existence, it does not exist. It doesn't exist. But if it does exist, what is that like? So the way Ryla said, the glass. What is meant by glass? Glass from the object. Glass from the object means glass exists objectively. Is it true or not? We don't know. But we know the meaning. That glass from the object means glass exists objectively. This is very precise meaning. Very precise meaning. The next is whether it exists like this or not. This is what we will explore. This is the next step. Right? Okay, this is so good. Now with this we don't really have time. We have only the 1 hour and 2 minutes to finish the Vajra Sutra. Okay, so the point is that the answer is what? Answer is whether we have studied, not studied. The answer is that yes, the glass from the object means glass exists objectively. Does it exist objectively or not? It does not. It does not. If it does not, then it does not exist. It does exist. It does exist, but it does not exist objectively. It exists subjectively. Right? So this really requires more studies. So I like to give an example. And then on this basic example, you will get some clue. The clue is that, okay, let's say there are 2 examples. When you speak about subjectivity, okay, first tell me, what do you understand by subjectivity? Anybody? A subjectivity, that everything is subjective. Subjectivity. Yes, Thomas?
That things exist only by their relation to each another. That things do not have
okay, make a relation, make connection. Okay, listen. Make connection to the subject.
Yeah, I make for me, my mother is very different, and I give my mother different value than some random person on the street would give to my mother who has never met my mother. So my mother has an independent existence from the subject as an object. Different beings give different subjective. They give a different value or different meaning for the object.
To the object.
Yeah, the object.
You mean to the object?
Object of subject. Yeah, they give different qualities depending by their karma, what they have perceived, what they have sensed to the object.
Okay, your subject gives a different meaning to the object,
yeah,
which is your mother.
Yeah.
Very good. Anybody else? It has multiple meanings. Subjectivity. That everything exists subjectively. Okay, one, Thomas said. Anybody else? What do you understand by subjectivity? Zarina?
Comes from your mind.
Say it again.
Everything comes from your mind.
That everything comes from the mind, which is the subject. That everything is subjective existence in the sense that everything comes from your mind. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes, Thomas?
Like if I have an allergy, some food can be, deadly for me. And for some other being, it can be like most delicious nectar of God.
Yes, yes, yes.
And it's a subjective experience.
Okay, so they say this what Thomas is saying is the similar what is said by the great Bodhisattva Arideva. He in his text 400 verses. They said that say for example a human being, a girl for a boy and boy for a girl, right? Girl for a boy and boy for a girl. So this object, the opposite gender, in other words, opposite gender, the air for you that is like the very attractive, but for the practitioners of the impurities, right? For that person, see you as very disgusting, and for the animals like the tigers, delicious food. Not attractive, it's delicious food. So there are three different perceptions taking place. There's purely subjective. It's not really from the object. Really? What do you understand by everything is subjective? So we have now the three answers coming. One from Thomas, one from Zarina, one here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the subject, everything is subjective.
What is meant by everything is subjective? This is my question, and you are repeating the same question as answer.
The subject cannot experience anything that is not subjective.
In other words, nothing really from the object is how the subject experiences. Is what I'm saying?
If how I see it is, I cannot imagine something that I cannot imagine.
Okay, in fact, object doesn't make any sense other than how your mind imagines, how your subjective mind imagines. So wonderful, Stina.
So that we've been taught. We've been, things have been labeled. So that's why we learn by the, like we learn from the other people, when we are growing up. So that it's like imputed on us, influenced by the others. How we call something.
Okay, so things exist. So things exist only with respect to only with respect to how our mind works on the basis of the labeling imposed on us by the environment, including the other people. Other people, they said, "Oh, this is a beautiful flower. I see this beautiful flower." And then the tone trousers, tone jeans. Oh, this is fashion. I see this fashion, right? And then they say like 40 years ago, oh, the tone jeans so poor. Okay, so poor, which means no tone jean is fashion. After 40 years later, without tone jeans, something's wrong with this person, right? Tone jeans means it's a standard, this is fashion, or just imposed by somebody on us by giving label that this is fashion, this is not fashion, this is good, this is bad. Okay, so these labels are coming from the other people's subjects, and that is imposed on your subject, and your subject believes in it, and this is how then things operate. Okay, beautiful, amazing.
I feel like it's directly related to emptiness also. Is it?
Oh, no, you speak. How wonderful.
Well, if it's
the question, the point is, what is meant by everything is subjective? What,
yes, so,
whether you really understand it or whether you learned it, it doesn't matter. Just speak of what do you think it means? Yes.
It means then that nothing is existing by its own side, so everything is empty.
Wonderful. Everything subjective means, so the way, wow, it's also like you attended our Dorji retreat. Okay, let's say that, oh, your name?
Kirsi.
Kirsi. So this is closer towards Kirsi, right? Then I'm worried. This is mine. When I say this is mine, what does it mean? It means that it is not yours. You're getting it is not yours. When I say that everything is subjective, means it is not objective. From the objective, everything is empty. Right? So in other words, talking about the emptiness of everything. Very good. Okay. So this subjectivity has, again, broadly speaking, two understanding. This subjectivity has two understanding. You're getting it? Okay, let's say on the how many of you have seen mirror in your life? How many have seen mirror in your life? All of us. Every morning we are looking at a mirror, right? You know how the mirror works. And how many of you have seen? How many of you have watched a movie in a movie theater? Every one of us. Okay, let's say you are watching a movie here. You are watching a movie here. And tell me, this movie is coming from where? Huh?
Kyllä, se minun mieleni on siinä mukana.
My mind is involved.
No, my question is, okay, take away the philosophy for the time being. My question is, this movie is coming from where? You are watching a movie in a movie theater. This movie is coming from where? Projector. Very good. Okay, this is the answer. Where's the projector? Where's the projector? On the screen or opposite screen? Opposite screen. You're getting it? Opposite screen. Screen is here. You're watching a movie here. And opposite screen is a projector. So projector is like your mind. Like your mind. And the projector is busy projecting the movie. And the movie is, you are watching the movie there. Actually, it's coming from there. Where's the movie? Movie is on the screen. But it's not from the screen. It's on the screen, but not from the screen. It's from the projector. So projector is the metaphor for your mind. Subject. So the projector and the movie, is there a gap, a space gap? Huh? Yes. Okay, Donna knows my secret. Right? That we should be confident. Right? Yes, there's a gap. There's a gap. We're not looking at the projector, we're looking at the screen. The movie is on the screen. The movie is on the screen, but it's coming from the projector. So the projector and the screen, there's a gap, space gap. So although the movie is coming purely from the projector, but the projector and the movie, there's a gap. Although our mind, like the projector, is projecting everything, but there's a gap between my mind and the objects. Is there the gap or not?
Yes.
Your mind is projecting me, your mind is projecting the flower. Is there a gap in your mind and the flower? Yes, there's a gap. This gap is known as externality. Right? I came from outside. Means that there's a gap. If there's no gap, inside and outside, the distance should be the same. There's a gap. Okay, so this is one way of understanding where the subject and the object, while the object is coming from the subject, while everything is subjective, while all the objects are subjective, but there's a gap in the object and the subject. One. Another understanding is, how many watch movie, how many of you have seen mirror in your life? We all have seen the mirror. Okay, mirror, a reflection is formed. Mirror is the metaphor for your mind. Mirror is a metaphor for your mind. And there's a reflection formed. Mirror is a metaphor for your mind and the subject. And the reflection in the mirror is the object. Right? So this reflection is coming from where? Coming from the object, from the mirror or not? The moment the mirror is removed, the reflection disappears. So this mirror, this reflection is purely because of the mirror. So mirror is like your mind and the reflection like the object. So this object, the reflection, is because of the subject, your mind. Is there a gap between the reflection and the mirror? Is there a gap between the reflection and the mirror? No gap. You're getting it? Yet the object, everything is like the reflection in the mirror, and this reflection in the mirror is because of the mirror. subject, because of the subject, by the power of the subject. And yet the subject and object, there's no gap. Because there's no gap, external, internal, there's no gap, there's no difference. For example, if you keep a mirror here, in the mirror, you will see that the flower reflection and the reflection of the outside this room, the tea kettle there. Oh, this flower, the flower is nearer, or the tea kettle is further away. You will see that in the mirror. But tell me, when you know that what you are seeing is just the reflection, not the reality, tell me, which is further away from the mirror? The reflection of the flower, reflection of the outside kettle. Which is nearer to the mirror? Same. You're getting it? We see as something is far away, something is close, it's all illusion. This is one system. This is one system which says that everything is subjective, but the subject object, there is no space gap. This is one philosophy. Everything is subjective. Everything is what is reflected in your mind. That's it. Right? Everything is subjective. But the subject and object, there is no space gap. This is known as, because there is no space gap, there's no far away, near, there's no far away, there's no near, far away, near, this is just illusion. This is one philosophy. You're getting it? This is the philosophy of the Chittamatra school, mind-only school. Mind-only school says that there's no externality. It's purely mind. There's no externality there. So the gap that you see is the illusion. Whereas the Prasangika Madhyamika, high spiritual school, says that yes, there is a gap. It is not like the mirror and the reflection. It is like the movie and the movie projector. Right? So both speak of the subjectivity. Both say that everything is subjective. But how they explain subjectivity is different. One says that the object and subject, the objects are purely subjective, but object subject, there's a gap. And whereas another one saying that everything, all the objects that you see is purely subjective, but there's no gap. When you say there's no gap, this becomes Chittamatra philosophy. When you say there's a gap, it becomes Prasangika's philosophy. You're getting it? Okay, this is very important concept. Now, from what we learned, and Raila. What Raila said is that when we say everything is subjective, means from the object is all objectively everything is empty. You're getting it? Okay, now let us look at this. Page 5. Page 5, line 6, line 5, page 5, line 5, paragraph 1. The realm of sentient beings, as many as are designated by imputation as sentient beings, all those I shall cause to pass completely beyond sorrow into the realm of nirvana without remainder of the aggregates. Okay, now, although limitless sentient beings have thus been caused to pass completely beyond sorrow, okay, now the next line. Although limitless sentient beings have thus been caused to pass completely beyond sorrow, number 1. Number 2, no sentient being whatsoever has been caused to pass completely beyond sorrow. 2, you're getting it? Okay, now let's say that the movie, okay, let's say that okay, the dream exists subjectively or objectively? Subjectively, objectively, dream.
Subjectively.
Of course, the dream exists subjectively. Dream exists subjectively means, what is the implicit meaning? Explicitly, the dream exists subjectively. This is the explicit meaning. Implicit meaning is that the dream does not exist objectively. Objectively, the dream is empty. Likewise, what we learn is that everything exists subjectively. Nothing exists objectively. Okay, the mind which sees things subjectively, that mind is known as conventional analysis. The mind which sees that that objectively nothing is there. What is that mind which knows that objectively nothing is there? That is known as ultimate analysis. So we see that there are two analyses, two minds. One we see explicitly, we said that everything exists subjectively. This is the conventional analysis. That mind is known as, technically this mind is known as conventional analysis. If everything is subjectively real, then objectively what is there? Hey, tell me. If everything is subjectively real, subjectively existent, what is there objectively? Huh? What is there objectively?
Appearance of subjective.
Appearance of subjective. Okay. Your name?
Yere.
Yer.
Yere.
Yere. Okay. Yere seems to be great the philosopher. Not just a philosopher, thinking philosopher. Philosopher there are two. A dry academic philosopher and a thinking philosopher. So Yere is like a thinking philosopher, right? Okay. So tell me again. Okay, Yere give me the answer. I agree with him, but we need to put it in a nice package, right? Okay. Somebody I need the help of somebody who can put it in a nice package. When I say everything is subjectively real, I said that everything is subjectively real. Objectively, what is there? Yes.
How can there be anything if everything is subjectively?
No, my question to you, everything exists subjectively. What is there objectively?
Nothing.
Yeah, be very precise. Thank you. When I say everything is subjectively real, say that everything here in this, all the objects here in this belongs to me. Everything belongs to me. Right? Then what belongs to you? If this is true, what belongs to you?
Nothing.
Then you can take me to court. Say he says that everything belongs to him. He said nothing belongs to us. I didn't say that. I just said one thing. I said that everything belongs to me. Right? And then you took me to court and said that he's saying that nothing belongs to me. Right? That he took away everything. Right? That he did not give me anything. I didn't say that nothing belongs to you. I didn't say that. But you say that, yes, you said it implicitly. You didn't say it explicitly, but you said it implicitly. You said everything belongs to you. Did you say this or not? I said, yes. Which means implicitly you are saying that nothing belongs to me. Okay, yes, that's true. Okay, then you can take me to court. You're getting it? Okay. So when I say everything is subjectively real, means objectively nothing is there. Okay, that mind which realizes that objectively nothing is there, that mind is known as ultimate analysis. That mind which sees that everything is subjectively real, this is known as conventional analysis. You're getting it? So we can classify the valid minds into two groups, conventional analysis and ultimate analysis. Tell me, is this rosary or not? Huh? Yes, of course, this is a rosary, right? Okay, this is a rosary with respect to, okay, how do you know that this is a rosary? Tell me. How do you know? Okay, rosary may be more complicated. You may go into philosophy. Easier would be, what is this? Flowers. Don't say green vegetation. Make it simple. Flower. How do you know that there's a flower in my hand? How do you know? Yes.
By its qualities.
Okay, by its qualities. Okay, how would you give the answer in the normal way? How do you know that there's a flower in my hand?
It looks like flowers.
Huh?
Looks like flowers.
Wow, this is a pure logic, good the logician's answer. Okay, what answer would you give?
I've been told so.
Wow, this is even more complicated. Just give me an answer, say for some in the street. You see, if you say that, okay, let's say on the street, somebody just ran with a knife, right, and chasing everybody, and the person disappeared. And then the policeman comes, and he said, "Oh, there's a man with a knife," right? And the person asks, "How do you know that he has the knife?" What will you say? What will you say? Somebody labeled it, or will you say what was your answer?
Looks like a knife.
It looks like a knife, right? Don't say that it's a knife because it looks like a knife. Right? What did you say? What did you say?
I saw it.
No, what did you say? What other answers came? I've been told so. Hey, how do you know there was a knife in his hand? The policeman asked you. Then the Zarina was said that I was told so. No. Okay. What's the answer?
I saw it.
I saw it. All right. Give this answer. Okay. Tell me. Now give the answer. Okay.
I see it in your hand.
Keep this class very confidential. Because particularly the monastic members who study emptiness for like 20 years, if they come to know that we are studying Vajra Chedika in 2 hours and discussing about, how do you know that I have a flower? I'm taught so, or I think so, and so forth, and then teaching, how do you know that there's a flower? That I'm seeing it, I saw this. If this is what we are learning, and completing Vajra Chedika in 2 hours, they'll be shocked. You're getting it? Okay. So we have to learn how to give the answer according to what you think. Tell me, how do you know there's a flower in my hand? I'm seeing it. I saw this. I'm seeing this. Okay, this point. Now, when you say that I'm seeing this for the existence of the object, to say that something exists, you are relating this to the subject. You are relating this, I'm seeing this. You are relating this to the subject. So this subject is of two kinds. One is known as ultimate analysis and one is known as conventional analysis. What is meant by conventional analysis? What is meant by ultimate analysis? Anybody? Okay, particularly for those from the 6-day retreat. Tell me, what do you understand by conventional analysis? What do you understand by ultimate analysis? Hey, Willie. First, conventional analysis. You choose one.
It's a flower.
Huh?
It's a flower.
The mind which says this is a flower is conventional analysis. Why? Okay, we are lost. Let's all listen to Willie.
I see.
My question is, okay, what makes you think that the mind which sees this flower as a flower to be conventional analysis? What is, in other words, what is the demarcating line? What is the meaning of conventional analysis? Okay, anybody else?
We see things objectively in the conventional. We see things objectively as if they.
Oh, now those who attend the 6-day retreat, if you cannot give this answer, you cannot get out of this hall. For those who did not attend, you are exception.
Niitä on totuttu nimeämään kupiksi.
We are used to call them flowers.
Okay, that is much more sensible. Anybody else, very quick. What do you understand by conventional analysis?
Sopimuksen mukaan.
It's according to the agreement.
Okay, according to agreement, there is a good answer. But agreement does not necessarily be conventional analysis, because if you're all suffering from a jaundice, then if you see this paper, you'll see this as a yellow paper. We all agree. Simply because we agree doesn't mean that it's a valid conventional analysis. We can agree, but still we can be wrong. All agreements can be wrong. Okay, anybody, what does mean by the conventional analysis? Yes.
It's how we see by convention how they seem to appear, and ultimate analysis when we are looking for its, analyzing for its true nature.
Conventional analysis, not ultimate analysis.
Yeah, but conventional analysis is how things seem to appear. No, it's how things seem to appear.
Which means things seem to be objectively?
Yeah, objectively.
That is a conventional analysis?
Yeah, but in ultimate analysis, the objective existence of things is...
No, speak so less so that I will not be confused. Okay, anybody? It is in your notebook. Guaranteed it is in your notebook. With the Alex?
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it's mental analysis is subjective analysis from the point of the subject, and ultimate is objective analysis.
Okay, this is good understanding, but you can easily be brought to confusion when understanding is good, but the only thing is that when brought to more questions, you can easily be trapped into contradiction. Okay, Zarina.
Conventional analysis is when we see things subjectively.
We see.
Sorry, conventional analysis is the mind that. Sorry, I got confused. Thinks it is subjective.
Depending on causes and conditions.
So non-composite phenomena, they don't exist by cause and conditions. Still, they have the conventional analysis. Anybody? Okay, I'm very serious. Those who attended 6-day program, they cannot go out of this hall. Okay, the analysis which analyzes the object without crossing the border of the conventionality.
Yeah. so quickly forgetting that. I feel ashamed, embarrassed.
Okay, analysis. Okay, this is very important. Okay, let's say. Okay, first, before we go into this, not really definition meaning. First, we will have to get the understanding. Once you understand it, then we can put it in a proper vocabulary. Okay, understanding is that. Okay, where is Tina? Where's Tina? Huh? Where's Tina? You don't know Tina? You don't know Tina?
She's here.
She's here. You're getting it? She's there. She's sitting there on the chair. Okay. Do you agree? If you want to know that is Tina, then do you agree that she's on the chair?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now you found Stina. After finding Stina, still you ask, where's Stina? After seeing Stina, still you ask, where's Stina? Then you will think that something's wrong with him. Something's wrong with him. Then still I ask, okay, Stina's skin is the Stina, then Stina's the inside the body is the Stina, Stina's mind is Stina. You like this, you will. Do you agree with me? Yeah. If you go into this analysis, then you will never find Stina. Do you agree with me or not?
Yes.
Good. That analysis is not how the conventional world will think of. The conventional world will think of, where is Tina? She's sitting on the chair. Finish. This is the border. This is the border. The moment you cross this border to analyze, the body is the Stina, the mind is the Stina, you go like this, Stina disappears. You're getting it? So that analysis which crosses the border of conventionality is known as the ultimate analysis. The analysis which stays within the conventional border, within that border, is known as conventional analysis. Okay. 2 + 2 = 4. Conventional analysis, ultimate analysis. Conventional analysis. 2 + 2 = 4. Okay. This is rosary. Conventional analysis, ultimate analysis. We are in Finland. Conventional, ultimate. Conventional, right? Okay. Which is Finland? This hall is Finland?
Ultimate analysis.
Okay. Then you go into the ultimate analysis. Okay. The moment we go into analysis, which the conventional world will think that this doesn't make any sense. So you have already crossed the border of conventionality. Crossing the border of conventionality, still you analyze, that becomes ultimate analysis. You're getting it? Okay, good. Now, say, the mind which sees the flower, okay, what is this water? What is this? We all say that this is water. And then somebody says this electrons, protons, neutrons. Where's the water? With respect to those people who see this electrons, protons, neutrons, right? Water makes no sense. So those minds, we see this as water, we call this as conventional analysis, because you stay within the convention of the world. Then to those people I ask who see these electrons, protons, neutrons, I ask, what is this? There's no water. There's no water. It's correct for them. For them it's correct. For them it's correct, but for the conventional world it's not correct. For them it's correct. For them it's correct. For you, this analysis already crossed the border of the conventionality. So that analysis becomes ultimate analysis. You're getting it? In other words, with the flower, with the conventional analysis, you will find the flower. With the ultimate analysis, you will not find the flower. When I say that the flower exists subjectively means, flower is findable by the subjective, which is subject, which is conventional. Flower is findable by the conventional analysis. So the flower is not findable by the ultimate analysis. Not findable, so it found the non-existence of the flower. In other words, the flower not existing ultimately. The flower exists conventionally. It doesn't exist ultimately. Sentient beings exist